Good morning, children. Today again we will continue with the same chapter, Sultans of Delhi. In today's class, we will cover Tughlaq dynasty, about Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Muhammad Tughlaq and Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. A war of succession broke out after Alauddin Khalji's death, and the power ultimately went to Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. He came into power after defeating Khosrow and killing him. After becoming the Sultan, he tried to win over the nobles who had helped him to come into power. He restored the lands of nobles which were taken away by Alauddin Khalji. He encouraged agriculture and improved the means of irrigation. He was an able administrator. The famous fort of Tughlaqabad was built by him. He died accidentally in 1325 and his son Muhammad bin Tughlaq became the ruler. Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a great poet, scholar and devout Muslim and a brave general. He did not allow the ulema to dominate him. He followed the policy of annexation. He was extremely ambitious. Muhammad bin Tughlaq spelled out various policies, but the execution of policies was very weak. Therefore, he ended up cancelling his own policies. This made him a laughing stock and a subject of ridicule. Even today, if any person of authority gives out an order which is incorrect and unplanned, it is called as Tughlaqi Farman by people. Taxation in Doab. Muhammad bin Tughlaq needed money to expand his kingdom. He increased the tax on the Doab area, which was very fertile. It was the area located between Ganga and Yamuna rivers. The tax was increased at a time when the monsoon failed and agriculture failed miserably, leading to a famine. The revenue collectors insisted on collecting the tax and tried to use force. The farmers revolted against the revenue collectors. Once the Sultan came to know of the matter, he withdrew his orders. As the timing of increase in taxation was inappropriate, the ruler became very unpopular. Use of token currency by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Tughlaq issued copper coins and kept their value at par with the gold and silver ones, which were in circulation earlier. The scheme failed as the Sultan did not keep a control over the issue of new coins. The people of the state started minting their own fake coins of higher value, which led to a large-scale circulation of counterfeit coins. The people kept the original silver coins with them. Tughlaq realizes his mistake about failure of his scheme and withdrew the entire currency. He then exchanged the entire copper coins by silver coins, which led him to suffer huge losses. Transfer of capital. He shifted his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad because Delhi was repeatedly under the threat of attack by the Mongols. Devagiri, an area in the Deccan, was renamed as Daulatabad. Due to this decision, the people had to face lots of hardships as he had ordered the entire population to move to a very far off place in those days when transportation facilities did not exist. He himself also moved to Daulatabad. Later, when he realized that the control of the northwestern frontiers was impossible from Daulatabad, he reversed his order and again shifted the capital back to Delhi. Muhammad bin Tughlaq faced rebellion in different parts of his empire during the last few years of his reign. He died in 1351 due to illness. Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was succeeded by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Firoz Shah Tughlaq tried to improve agriculture and worked for the welfare of the peasants. Loans were waived off in case of droughts. He constructed a number of canals and many wells to provide good irrigational facilities. He also built some important towns like Hisar, Jaunpur, Firozabad. He imposed jizya, a tax on non-Muslims. Firoz Shah Tughlaq provided financial help to deserving people, set up marriage bureaus which gave financial assistance to parents for marriage of their daughters. He was a patron of learning and got numerous Sanskrit books translated into Persian. He based the judicial system on Islamic laws. He abolished the practice of torture. He built many sarais or rest houses for travelers. But he was not an able warrior as no significant conquest was made. His successors were also not very competent. The invasion of Timur. Timur's invasion gave a severe blow to Tughlaq's rule in 1398. Timur was a Turkish chief who ruled over a large empire in Central Asia. He attacked Delhi and ordered a general massacre which ruined the city of Delhi. He took away the wealth of India to Central Asia. Sayyid dynasty. The founder of Sayyid dynasty was Sayyid Khizr Khan, and he continued to rule around 37 years. The Sayyids. Once Timur left India and returned to his empire, the throne of Delhi was left to the hands of his deputy Khizr Khan. Khizr Khan established the Sayyid dynasty. This dynasty had four rulers, namely Mubarak Shah, Muhammad Shah, and Alam Shah, in addition to Khizr Khan. This dynasty did not leave any significant mark on the history of Delhi. Lodi dynasty. There were three main rulers in the history of Lodi dynasty: Behlul Lodi, Sikandar Lodi, and Ibrahim Lodi. Sikandar Lodi. Behlul Lodi, an Afghan, laid the foundation of the Lodi dynasty. He was succeeded by Sikandar Lodi, who is regarded as the greatest king of the Lodi dynasty. Sikandar Lodi re-established his authority in Jaunpur and Bihar and also in Bengal. His area extended from Punjab to the borders of Bengal. He was a great scholar and wrote poems in Persian. Ibrahim Lodi. Ibrahim Lodi, the son of Sikandar Lodi, succeeded his father in 1517. He became unpopular among the nobles as he tried to replace some of the older nobles and punished some prominent ones. He had to face a lot of rebellion by the nobles. Revolts broke out in many parts of his kingdom. Finally, Alam Khan, the Sultan's uncle, and Daulat Khan Lodi, the governor of Punjab, invited Babur, the ruler of Kabul, to invade India. The first battle of Panipat took place in 1526. Ibrahim Lodi was killed and the Delhi Sultanate came to an end and the era of Mughal rule commenced. Causes of decline. The Delhi Sultanate saw its decline in the early 16th century. But the reason for this decline can be various policies which gradually weakened their rule. Broadly, they can be summarized as follows. First, lack of rules of succession. There were no fixed rules of succession in the dynasties. There were bitter rivalries and struggles for supremacy among the subordinates or sons to gain supremacy due to jealousy. Power of the nobles. The nobles became powerful by having provinces to rule or control. The kings were dependent on them for revenue and survival. Gradually, these nobles assumed themselves to be kings and fractured the kingdom into smaller states. Policies of arrogance. There were many rulers who were extremely autocratic and harsh on the people. They considered themselves to be gods. This was a major cause of discontentment among the people. Inconsistency of policies. Each ruler brought his own policies. There was no streamlining in governance. The judicial and administrative systems were not smooth and kept varying. The imposition of tax and non-Muslims started dividing the society. So, the end of the Sultanate brought about a change of rulers and dynasties by foreigners. the Mughal Empire set foot on the Indian subcontinent, and you shall study about them in the subsequent chapters. Sur dynasty. The Sur dynasty was an Afghan family which ruled in the north of India between 1540 and 1555. Farid Khan, also known as Sher Shah Suri, conferred his name upon him when, as a young man, who killed a tiger that leapt suddenly upon the king of Bihar. He was the founder of the Suri Empire. He died in an accident gunpowder explosion in the fort of Kalinjar on 30th May 1545. Sher Shah Suri was known as the Lion King of India. He issued the first rupiah during his rule. He revived the city of Patliputra as Patna. He extended the Grand Trunk Road from Chittagong, now in Bangladesh, to Kabul.